So what's really critical about leadership is that we are true to ourselves. If you are trying to be something that you're not, it comes across as phony, it's unbelievable, and you lose credibility with your entire organization. So you have to be true to yourself first and foremost. And I know that sounds like a corny line, to your own self be true, but it's really, really true that you have to be consistent. And then everyone can know who you are, what you're trying to do, and you're not trying to be something that you're not. Because you'll never come across genuine if you do that. So I just want to give you a simple example. I was working with someone one time, I was in a leadership role training people on program management. And we were in this class and there were 6 people, they each got to have their own turn in the program management role to experience what it was like to be a program manager. And one day this woman, it got to be her turn. And she was a very pleasant, very intelligent woman, soft-spoken, very articulate. And during the course of the class, people were really listening to her and understanding her and really respected her opinion. And then it came time for her to be the leader of the group. And she took her turn in the role. And she totally changed her behavior into dictatorial, driving home, trying to say, you got to do this and you got to go do that. And she was just totally changed her whole behavior. It was not who she was. And the team didn't know how to react. And this was in just a small setting. It was really fascinating to witness. And at the end of the day, I mean, the team didn't accomplish any of their objectives. And they didn't do anything she had asked. They didn't respond to her at all. Where in the previous sessions, they had really likened to her. But they didn't recognize her as who she had become when she was a leader. And at the end of the class, everybody left and she sat there and she just started sobbing. And I asked her, what's wrong? She goes, I'm a failure at this. I will never be a leader. Can never do this. I hate this. I said, why did you behave differently than who you are? And her simple answer to me was, this is the only way a woman can be a leader. This is how we have to be a leader. And it struck home to me that the difference between men and women are so different in our society right now. And women are trained that they have to be just like other men. And they have to be acting like these tough women who can charge and take charge and lead people. And the only way to do that is to be a dictator. And that is so not true. But it is so true for women to perceive it that way. And the way most men respond to women typically is that they will accept a strong woman, but a more mild woman that's in a leadership role they tend to disregard. And so there's some real cultural things that we have to overcome. But a woman, well, everyone, not just a woman, but everyone has to be true to yourself. So for women, they tend to try to overcompensate and become somebody that they're really not, because that's what's been expected. And it's not the way that it should be. And so in order for a woman to be effective in her role, and really for anybody to be effective in their role, is for them to be true to who they are. And I simply asked her, I said, why did you become somebody you weren't? And she said, because I thought that's how I have to be. I said, no, you can't be effective if you are trying to be somebody you're not. And so it's such a valuable lesson for us to be so true to ourselves, make sure that we are consistent. If she had been, she would have been so effective because the people in that room would have known who she was and why she was that. Some women are strong and are dictators, and that's great, just be consistent. Some women are not, and the way to be effective is to be consistent with who you are, and that's true with men as well as women. But in our day and age, we tend to hold higher expectations of women in different roles, and if you try to fit that mold and it's not who you are, you will fail. So it's so important for us to be true to who we are, be consistent, and step into that leadership role as being consistent with our personality and what motivates us. And people will respond to that, and you'll be genuine. And if you're not genuine, you won't.